All right, let's move on to our other stories this morning. And the holidays are often described as the most wonderful time of the year, yet for many, they're also the most stressful and isolating. In 2023, American Psychological Association survey found that 41% of adults are at their most stressed during November and December, but there are ways to combat that. Let's send it over to Studio B now. Senior health correspondent Monica Robbins has more. Hey there, Monica.
Hey, Dave. Yeah, you know, we can take practical steps to care for ourselves and others and make mental health a shared priority, not a private struggle. Rick Kellar leads PEGS Foundation, one of Ohio's largest mental health foundations, and has some ideas on how we can all do this. Thank you so much for being here and joining us.
No, thank you, Mark. I appreciate being here.
You have a lot of important information for us. So first of all, tell us, what is PEGS Foundation?
So PEGS Foundation is a philanthropic grant-making organization that was founded in 2001. It's named after Margaret Clark Morgan, PEG for short. That was her nickname. Her son suffered serious mental illness throughout his life. Flash forward, he's doing well now in a group home, but that wasn't always the case. And her husband were successful in business, and they are philanthropically inclined. And there's actually two Morgan foundations, but we're the one that cares deeply and mostly about those that suffer serious mental illness and the families that surround them.
The U.S. Surgeon General declared loneliness a national epidemic just a couple of years ago, noting that the health risks are equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day, because people who are lonely are at risk for heart attack and stroke. And obviously this especially impacts the elderly. And as we've heard, the holidays are, isolating and can be incredibly stressful. When we see a neighbor, when we see a family member, how do we know that they could be at risk? What are we looking for?
So there's a couple resources online. So at the foundation, we support a lot of organizations. I think we walk hand in hand with not only families and individuals, but the nonprofits that helps try to serve folks, whether it's serious mental illness or it's things like maybe more episodic seasonal depression. One of the resources that I would highlight is, there were two. NAMI.org is an organization that helps support families and has a great deal of resources around, hey, how do I identify and relate to somebody in my family that maybe is depressed, particularly during the holidays. ChangeDirection.org is another website that will talk about the 5 signs that could be very serious mental health disruption or illnesses, and also something that's maybe more about like, hey, this person just seems agitated or depressed. And both of those resources are avenues for you to say, hey, how can I identify somebody that maybe is struggling and needs help?
Talk to us about mental health first aid and CPR for the mind, if you will.
Yeah, so mental health first aid is a clinical training that's open to everybody. I can remember growing up, I think I did it through Boy Scouts or a local pool, hey, drown proofing, CPR, all those kinds of skills that we do for physical health. Mental health also has the opportunity through mental health first aid and getting CPR for the mind.
Talk to us about, what are the signs of emotional suffering we should be watching, and what do we do about it?
So identifying somebody that is struggling and needs help, oftentimes it's just an opportunity to lean into them, to show that you care. The skill sets through mental health first aid and some of those other resources help you maybe approach somebody in a way that's more appropriate, because what you don't want to do is reach out to somebody and make it worse. Particularly happens in families, where family members are often the folks that we take out our illnesses on the most. And there's opportunities for us to deliver help. But I think and then there's also, what's the impact on yourself? How can you as an individual care for yourself? And I like using the example of, I can remember some of the happiest times I had was picking up a box of crayons when I was little in kindergarten and drawing something. There's a way to consider self-care and care for yourself during these holidays.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because art can be an outlet. Talk about the foundation and the gallery.
So we have a gallery location that we built at 53 First Street in Hudson, Ohio. There's hours Monday through Wednesday, 11 to 4, and then 11 to 7, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We display art. We have folks that have mental illness that we display there. We have artists. We had Salvador Dali this past summer, global artist, well-known. It's open to the public. It's an opportunity for respite. We're going to have the facility decked to the nines for the holidays with decorations throughout. It's a great place to come and take a break and just experience art. Art is an avenue, I think, for folks to kind of reflect and just take a pause and slow down in the busy times during the holidays. I'm
so glad you're here talking about mental health. We all need to talk about mental health. And if you have an issue, don't forget 988 is the number you need to call if you're having any issues. And of course, talk about this with your family at the Thanksgiving table, at the holiday tables, whatever you're doing. Rick, thank you for what you're doing,
Monica.
and thank
Appreciate
you for your work.
Thank you very much.
All right, Dave, back to you.
All right, thanks to both of you. Very important, certainly. All right, Monica.